Candace Bure, would you rather be a shark or a dolphin?
A shark.
Paul the Gelder?
Shark.
I'd like to be both. I call it a shalfin. Tonight, we learn when to avoid sharks in the water and pack for a shipwreck. I'm your host, Eli Roth. Welcome to Shark After Dark, our late-night show with Shark Week experts, interviews, clips, and plenty of conversation. Please welcome my first guest from Fuller House and The View. It's the lovely Candace Bure. And from this year's Sharks Among Us, it's ex-paratrooper, shark bite survivor turned advocate, author, and motivational speaker, the amazing Paul the Gelder. Welcome, Paul. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Candace, this is your first time on Shark After Dark. I understand you and your family are big Shark Week fans.
We are. We love Shark Week. It's just, it captivates us.
And have you ever been in the water with sharks before?
I have, because I remember I went snorkeling one time, and I think I pretty much I almost drowned the other people around me because someone yelled shark, and I just went kicking and flailing back to the boat.
And Paul, you lost your arm and a leg to a bull shark in 2009, and now you are an advocate for their conservation. Can you tell a little bit for the audience that don't know, how did you go from someone who's a bite victim to a shark champion?
I like to refer to it kind of like being Spider-Man, where you get bitten by something and you instantly become like an expert.
Part shark.
Yeah, now I'm part shark. No, it just kind of happens slowly. You know, there was only two things that I was really afraid of in life, and that was sharks and public speaking. So now I make shark documentaries and I do motivational speaking, which is really weird.
But you were on the set of The Shallows that's out now in theaters. It's about a surfer played by Blake Lively and her encounter with a shark. Paul, I know you had a chance to visit the set and connect with Blake. How was that experience?
Yeah, so she called me initially in Australia to have a chat about sharks and conservation and the way you should act when you get bitten by a shark. So we talked about that for about an hour, and then I went out and shot on set with, filmed on set behind the scenes, met her, interviewed her. We had a great time, and she's such a huge shark advocate as well. She didn't want it to be like Jaws and what everyone thinks, you know, causing mass hysteria and people wanting to go out and kill sharks. She doesn't want that at all, but at the same time, they wanted to make a good, scary shark movie.
I also think it's equally important to balance them with the facts. It's like it's okay to enjoy something serious as long as you know what the reality is. Is it even appropriate to call what people call shark attacks attacks? Are they really attacking us, or are they just checking us out? What do you think?
That's a good question for you, because I always wonder, we're in the water. We're going into where they live.
Mm-hmm. I personally feel like I was attacked. It grabbed me, it grabbed a whole big chunk of flesh in my hamstring and just thought, oh wow, there's blood and it's soft and I'll just have a go. And it's testament
to... This is freaking me out now, because my boys surf every day, and we always go on beach vacations, and now you're scaring me to get in the water because
we should. Okay, by the way, this is a great moment. This is what we would. This is a good moment to turn to Paul.
It's still one of the rarest things that ever happens in the world.
1 in 11.5 million. Yeah, I mean, your chances are what, 1 in 11.5 million of being attacked.
Okay.
More chance of winning the lotto. You've got more chance of dying in an accident in the car on the way to the beach. It's such a slim chance. I'm just really lucky.
Yeah, he's just really lucky. I think he's like. Do you know that you actually have greater chance of dying from a selfie than you do of being killed by a shark bite?
I believe it.
All right, so we saw a lot of action tonight on sharks versus dolphins, and I had no idea that there was this kind of cats and dogs rivalry with these two animals. Let's take a look at this.
But suddenly a big giant pool of blood came up right next to the boat. It was a short fin mako shark, and he immediately bit the dolphin in the back. He actually had the tail of the dolphin in his mouth and was towing him along backwards. We see a lot of dolphins out here that have marred dorsal fins. We estimate what they do when the shark is after them. They turn their back at them, and that's probably the safest spot for them to first get attacked at. If you get bit in the belly, it's not good.
All right, Paul, have you ever seen anything like that versus dolphins and sharks fighting in the wild?
Never. Never. Not in real life anyway. You know, I watch Shark Week, so I've seen stuff like that. But not in real life. No, that's incredible.
I mean, you went diving with dolphins, didn't you?
I did. Well, not diving, but I went swimming with dolphins. If you ever watch an episode of Full House, you've seen it too.
But did you feel that they were? I mean, I think I have this fantasy that if you're in the water and there's a shark and there's a dolphin, you feel like, oh, the dolphins are going to protect me. But clearly, the sharks are biting them. Would you ever consider going swimming with sharks?
No, not even in a cage.
Not even really.
No.
You're not that curious about them.
I'll just watch them on Shark Week. I'm curious, but I'm too nervous and scared.
Do you dive? Have you done scuba diving?
Once. It was really fun.
It was fun.
I'm a novice.
I would say if you get the opportunity, because I think everyone had that fear. The change over me was literally instantaneous. Once they were so close, I realized that, the diver said, if a shark's approaching you, just blow bubbles and see what happens. And they get close and you exhale and they freaked out. These little reef sharks, black tips. I'm sure that was probably not the case with the bull shark, which is the most aggressive species. But did you find that? I found it to be very, like dogs have personalities, very shy, very curious, very kind of interested, but kept their distance.
How big were the sharks?
I had a
that you were
17
swimming
foot.
with?
I went
Oh,
swimming
you
with a
did?
17 foot
Okay.
tiger shark, and she was just and she was checking
Wow.
me out really slowly, never aggressive. Other than that bull shark, what is your experience with sharks been?
It's really different, as you would know, actually being underwater with the sharks when you can see them. You don't feel threatened at all. And we shot our show, Sharks Among Us, in the Bahamas with these massive, great hammerhead sharks. And they gave us some warning saying, you know, they've got the eyes on the end of their head, so they can't always see where you are. So they're coming close. And if they do come too close, you actually have to grab them by the head and redirect them. So that was
It's almost
really
like when a
interesting.
little kid is swimming, probably like fighting, you know, one of the Olsen twins on Full House when they windmill their arms.
Yeah, you're
I don't know if you
right.
ever had to use that technique on any of your co-stars.
But even when they do that, you don't feel threatened. It's not like they're after you. You feel at peace with it. And it's kind of like watching a magic show. It's a really incredible experience. I'd highly recommend it.
Okay,
I
it's
also-
not on my bucket list right now. Let me think about it.
All right, well, coming up, meet the deadliest sharks in the ocean, and later we get shipwrecked. More Shark After Dark after this. Welcome back to Shark After Dark. I'm Eli Roth. I'm here with Candace Cameron Bure and shark bite survivor and author turned advocate, Paul de Gelder. Thanks, guys. All right, earlier in tonight's Deadliest Shark, it was all about the oceanic whitetip who have historically attacked shipwrecks. Now, the worst shark attack ever in recorded history was during World War II when the USS Indianapolis went down in the South Pacific, and only 317 of the 900 sailors that went into the water survived. The story from Jaws, remember Quint tells the story, but those are oceanic whitetips. So what is it about sharks and shipwrecks? Is it just like an all-you-can-eat buffet dumped in the water? What do you think is attracting them, Paul?
Well, it's not the shipwreck itself that's attracting the shark. A lot of the time the sharks follow the ships because they dump what we call gash, which is the rubbish and the human waste and all that stuff.
Is that a scientific term, gash?
It's a naval term.
That's a naval term.
Yeah,
okay.
So we call it gash, it's rubbish and human waste, and they constantly dump that, so the sharks follow it as an easy meal. Also, there's a lot of fish underneath the boats, they use it as cover, so the sharks follow the boats, and then they just happen to sometimes get wrecked.
So your father was on a boat that went down?
Oh, my grandfather, yeah.
Your grandfather did, yeah.
In the war, so he was on a merchant navy ship running supplies for the US, and that got wrecked, and they ended up in the water for quite a period of time before an American navy ship picked them up. But he's passed now, so I can't ask him if anyone got eaten. I've been trying to look up through the records, but haven't been able to find anything yet. But that would always be my fear, getting wrecked and ending up in the water.
And then you're like, I made it, cut to
Yeah.
the shark, yeah. Now, you have two teenagers that are surfing every day. Have they had any shark encounters or ever seen a shark?
No.
Like, we know they're huge
Or
shark fans. They'd
might-
probably be excited.
They may be very smart and not tell me about them if they
Right.
have.
Yeah.
But none that I know of.
All right, well, white tips are pretty aggressive, not as aggressive as bull sharks, but check out this video of a white tip biting someone.
A group of snorkelers film a pod of pilot whales when an oceanic whitetip suddenly appears nearby. Thinking that the whitetip has finally left the area, the group returns their attention to the pilot whales.
Ow! Oh, that is a real bite.
Things could have been much worse. The diver escaped with only minor lacerations.
I mean, does that give you flashbacks, or are you okay watching
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
like that?
fine.
You're fine by now.
I had a very different view.
Yeah, a different. So was that an investigative bite, what we just saw
Most
there?
certainly. And most of them are. You'll notice that very few people actually get eaten by a shark. They always come, they take a bite, and then they take off when they realise that you're not food. And I think that might actually be a friend of mine, because I have this mate who got bitten by an oceanic white, and on the same area, on the shoulder, it looks like he was attacked by a bear. He has these huge claw marks back over his shoulder. And he admitted it was his own fault.
But how? Okay.
How was it his own fault? Because he wasn't paying attention?
He
or-
wasn't paying attention to the signs that the sharks give that they're getting a little aggressive. You know, their fins, pectoral fins go down. So that's a very clear indicator that they're getting a little cranky. And he just wasn't paying attention. He pushed the boundaries, and he said to himself, I should probably get out right now. But being the cameraman that he is, he said, nah, I'll be all right. And he got bitten.
Wow. Did that ever happen on Full House? Did maybe Stamos' fins go down? Anyone ever get aggressive? Been shooting a little too long? I want to ask you something. Is there a favorite thing you have about Shark Week? Like, when you watch it, do you love the breaches? Do you love the bites? Do you just love sharks in general? What is it like?
I love watching the whole thing. It's just fascinating. I think what's most fun for me, though, is sitting with my kids and watching it. And one of my son, Lev, he's like a factoid machine. So he watches that whole thing, and then he can spit out all the information you guys are spitting out because we have sat and watched you. But he remembers everything.
He's like the human Sharkopedia.
Yes,
He's like
yes.
Sharkopedia Brown. All right, well, when I was in Tahiti, there were so many different types of sharks. I went diving this year for Shark Week. The divers there have developed a certain kind of language. They have underwater signs to let you know what shark is what. So I'm going to give you guys a sign. And these are the real signs they use. You're going to let me know if you think...
This isn't fair.
No, but this is... Okay, there's this one. We're underwater and you see this.
Shark bite.
Close. All right, first part is shark, but what kind of shark would that be?
Razor.
Razor, almost. Paul?
Tiger shark.
Tiger shark, exactly. You can see it's still in the tiger shark. That's me with a 17-foot tiger shark.
Okay, right.
That was me in Tahiti. I was actually looking in that photo there. I'm actually going, I can't believe the shark didn't show up. Where is it? And cut to, it was literally right behind me. All right, this shark, this sign, underwater. What would this be? What does it look like I'm doing?
So bad. Turning something.
Turning. Okay, yes, turning. Do you know, Paul?
Yeah, I know what it is.
I might be juicing.
What's he doing?
What's am I doing? Like juicing. If there was a glass underneath, I might be juicing something.
Yep.
So like if he's
Squeezing.
What
ends in Emin.
What?
Starts with L, ends in Emin.
Yes.
Lemon?
Yes, exactly. Lemon shark. Good job. Well, all right, and that's me with a lemon shark. We call them walkers because they look just like the zombies on Walking Dead. They kind of have a smile. That's me behind them, and they have this big kind of like a Finding Nemo poster, that smile and these yellow eyes. I want to cast them in my next horror movie. All right, the last one, and this one's pretty. All right. What's this one? Because it's probably easier than doing
it's
this.
It's a hammerhead?
Exactly.
Okay.
I didn't need a hammerhead. Good job. There were a couple of other signs the divers used. This is like the dive's over. This one is don't move because there's a shark. That happened to me. They were like
two sharks?
Yeah, there were two tiger sharks. And then they went, which means, you know, get the hell out of the water. Right. The dive's over. We're going to get eaten. All right, well, stick around because after the break, we prep for a shipwreck and you get an exclusive sneak peek of nuclear sharks. We'll be right back. Shark After Dark, I'm Eli Roth, and I'm joined by Candace Bure and shark advocate Paul de Gelder. All right. Now, we've been talking about oceanic white tips and how much they love shipwrecks. Well, the good news is we are not shipwrecked, but what if we were? Candace, we have various items on stage that will help you or hurt you if we were in the middle of a shipwreck, and this is your life raft. There are two options. One attracts sharks, and one repels them. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to pack a survival raft, and afterwards, Paul and I will assess your choices. You ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay, the ship is going down, starting now. We're sinking.
No, I'm like blood.
Whoa,
Tiger
okay.
shark.
There you go.
I feel like this is going to look like a seal, but I'm taking it. That's reflective. No vibration without a...
Wow, 20 seconds. You got 20 seconds.
Would vibrate, right?
Okay, you got the oars and the last one. Are you going to go with sardines or peppers?
I'd go with peppers, but is that bloody?
That was amazing. 9. Anything else switch? Decisions last
Not
minute?
switch. No,
Not switching.
I'm committed. I'm committed to those choices.
That's it. All right. Okay, come here, guys. Let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Is it all wrong?
All right. Let's see how life or death. Okay, your first choice was to choose between the plain gray swimsuit and the shiny one. Paul?
I would have to say correct.
That was correct. You did it. Now, and that is because...
that would be reflective and shiny?
It's going to look like a fish.
All right, it's going to look like a fish. Very
Plus,
nice.
you look good.
Plus, you look very good. It's, you know, very fashionable.
And it'd be less... There's more coverage if it does attack you. You get a little piece of fabric.
All right. Next, you chose the oar.
I chose the oar because wouldn't that have a vibration? Although it's underwater, it's a shipwreck. I don't know.
100% correct.
You're good at this. You're like a shark survivalist. Very impressive. All right. Next up. Okay, the guitar or the saxophone? She chose... the guitar. Why?
Because Uncle Jesse would.
Can I tell you?
See what I did there?
Tied it in. There are a lot of situations in life where I'll think, what would John Stamos do? Or what would Uncle Jesse do? And in this case, he would have taken the guitar. However, Paul?
I have to say, this one incorrect. We shot a show last year where death metal on the guitar attracted great whites.
Wow,
yeah,
okay.
And if it was some more, you know, maybe...
I thought the sax might sound like whales singing and might have... I don't know.
Maybe the Bob Saget saxophone would have been the smarter choice rather than the Uncle Jesse. Okay, next, the oak. Oh, look at this. We got the colorful...
I know.
And it's so pretty and it's so colorful, and I know your kids surf, so you don't want to think of them as surfboard. What, was this the right... Why did you choose this one?
Well, that kind of looked like... I thought that they might think that's their buddy. It might be another tiger shark swimming along. Mm-hmm. But that kind of is a little bloody, too, so I don't know.
So you don't... It's 50-50.
It was 50-50.
It was luck of the draw.
Yeah, I'm going to say this would replicate another fish, which is what a shark would eat, as opposed to a surfboard like that that looks unlike anything a shark would eat, for example, sea snakes.
Yeah, and they're actually, now, aren't they not experimenting with actually doing zebra stripes?
They've actually created this exact same colour scheme on surfboards in Western Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Good
there
to
you go.
know.
So-
And I might get a bathing suit that looks like that too.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing you could do is you could tattoo your children head to toe like zebras, and then you never have to worry
A
about them
zebra
getting bitten.
wetsuit might be better.
Oh yeah, that's even easier.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tattoo's funnier. Anyways, all right. The chili peppers or the sardines? You chose the chili peppers. Why?
Well, those are fish. They're little sardines. Don't they eat them? No?
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, they do. Good choice. You got that one right.
Did I
Yeah.
get it right?
The chili peppers.
All right, 50%.
Well, and it says here on my little card that ancient Aztecs used chili peppers to help ward off sharks. So you're continuing the ancient Aztec tradition
Thank
of
you.
warding off sharks. All right, tomorrow night on Shark Week, things reach critical mass. Here's an exclusive preview of nuclear sharks.
More sharks are drawn in by the current. So far, all female reef sharks, many over 4 feet. One takes a bite, and the frenzy is on. A minute later, and the fish is gone.
Paul the Gelder and Candace Bure, thank you so much for being here tonight. Really a pleasure.
Thanks. It was fun.
You can see Candace in Hallmark Movies and Mysteries Aurora Tea Garden series. Join us tomorrow for the finale of Shark After Dark. My guests will be the incredible Ashlyn Cousteau and shark filmmaker Andy Casagrande. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.